And we are live on the United Public Radio Network, UPRN 107.7 FM New Orleans and 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast. How cool is that? And UPRN's live streams the show to wherever podcasts live, so we're easy to find. To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave para peeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is Father Shawn's Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Father Shawn Whittington. I'm an ordained Catholic priest with the United States Old Catholic Church. I am a fully professed brother with the Old Catholic Benedictines of Immaculate Mary. I'm a team member with Society of St. Benedict and co-founder of GhostBeGone.biz. And yes, I'm that guy on Eli Roth Presents the Legion of Exorcists um, travel channel and currently streaming everywhere. And it's pretty amazing how the show is still being discovered in streaming land out there. And for all of you that continue to discover the show and reach out to me with such positive support of the show, God bless you for that. That means a lot to me. And I'm glad that for the most part, I think since the show aired last summer, I don't think I've had one person actually call me and tell me to go dig a hole and climb in it. so, and we put a lot of work into the show. We're proud of it. So thank you all so much for the support. If anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. If you go there to visit, there's a lot of cool things to see. Both my books are there, God, Ghost, and the Paranormal Ministry, and God, Ghost, and the Paranormal Ministry 2. The books can be purchased a little less expensive on Amazon, and they're also available in an audio version. But if you buy them off the website, they leave my office here. I autograph them, I enclose them, and they come to you in a beautiful house blessing kit, which you never know when you might need one of those. But the beautiful thing about buying them off of the website is part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my books goes to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in Nevada, and the ASPCA. So how cool is that? You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. So those are two wonderful causes that I've been supporting for many, many years. There's a place on the website where you can make an appointment to speak with me about your spiritual issues. And there's also my online course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare, which you can enroll in on the website if you feel you might need a course like that. It's the course for all you true warriors for Christ that want to learn how to draw your line in the sand, um, make a stand, put up a good fight, perhaps the fight of your life against, God forbid, true evil. If that ever comes calling, that's the course for you. All my students that graduate get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion, suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed items and gifts that you can only get from yours truly. So if you want more information about the course before making that type of commitment, reach out to me. I'm easy to find and we'll talk about it and see if it's right for you. Don't forget, guys, my wife and I, we don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So if you go to the website and you notice the donate button, trust me, I know times are tough, brothers and sisters. But if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send my ministry in a small donation. I promise you it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. Okay, you guys, this is the last show of 2024. And this is how a live, all things paranormal podcast closes out the year with a bang. And that bang comes in the form of my guest tonight. You all know her, you all love her. That's why you tuned in. She's in the green room. She's going to come out in just a couple of seconds. But first, another cool thing about my Friday shows, I have an awesome co host. I've known her forever. I love her. I respect her. I consider her a good friend. She's a lifelong paranormal experiencer. She's the owner of Stellium Books and my publisher. Please welcome to the show the one and only Annette Munich. What are you doing?
Father Shawn, hi everybody. Glad to be here. I was thinking I've known you so long I can't even remember how I met you.
You met me. Um, Here's your bracelets. I got two of them on. One
Bracelets.
is me and one is Sharon's. I wanted to model them because you're making those. I want people to see how they look on. And if you
Right.
could reach out to Annette,
Thank you.
have her make you a bracelet. Um, how did we meet? Just through the paranormal community. I was looking for someone that I thought could do my story justice and publish a good book for me. And I reached out to you and ran that idea past you, and you said absolutely, let's do it. And the rest is history. And so
I
you, I
think
think
I met you even a year or two before that because you were talking about writing a book. And then one day you sent me a message and you said, "Hey, I'm actually writing the book."
that's probably how it happened. I don't want to also forget this. We're also still giving away blessed frankincense incense. Every winner gets a box like this, and inside this box are 10, count them, 10 incense cones and a little incense holder in the box. So all you got to do in the chat is type in your name and the word incense. Later on tonight around midnight, Annette will gather all the names together and do a little drawing. She'll get back to me with the winner, and then her and I will send messages to the winner and try to get a mailing address on you so we know where to ship your incense. So we're still doing that. I've got 2 box loads full of blessed incense. I'm going to keep giving them out, not just over the holidays, but I'll keep giving them
Yes.
out. I'll keep giving them out until they're all gone. There you go. So, Annette, do you have any announcements you would like to make before we bring on our very special guest today?
Not too much, except that I do have, and I took it off, so I'm like disappointed, but I do have another bracelet that's coming out, and we will be giving at least one away in January. So, I don't know if we do things like every week. We were kind of doing something nice for the holidays, and people associate frankincense with Christmas
Absolutely.
because of the wise men. Although it's beautiful and you can use it all year round, there's no reason not to.
I've already burned a couple of cones in the house here, and Sharon, who normally doesn't really like incense, she lets me occasionally, when I'm smudging and blessing my home, do my sage and sweetgrass and Palo Santo wood. But I've been burning some of the blessed frankincense here recently, and she likes it.
Oh yeah,
So for
it's
forever, I got to keep it away. If you're the kind of person that's a little allergic to smoke, keep it in the corner of a room. Keep your AC unit going if you're running an AC or your heater unit, so there's a little circulation. Don't have it like right under your smoke alarms because it'll probably set your smoke alarm off. But it's wonderful incense, so I'll keep giving them away until I run out.
so
Uh oh,
Susan's here.
hi Susan. Oh, while she's on, I might as well throw this out there. Beginning in February of next year, the last um, Friday of every month is something new we're going to introduce called Happy Medium Monthly. Susan will be on the show, just me and her, every last Friday of the month throughout 2025, and she's going to come on and just do free live on air psychic readings. So if you've ever wanted a free live on air psychic readings from one of the most gifted psychic mediums I know, start tuning into that in February of next year. And while
Yay.
I'm on that note, I might as well also throw out that it's quickly becoming a big fan favorite. First Fridays with Father Shawn and Annette, which will be next Friday. The first Friday of every month, it'll just be Annette and I hosting the show, and the guest is all of you. We're going to do an open mic and just field questions from the chat room. So it'll be your guys' opportunity to put Annette's feet to the fire and rake me over the coals and ask us anything you want. Doesn't have to be just about the paranormal. So that's beginning next. We've already done a couple of them, but that'll be next Friday, January 3rd, I believe it is.
And those
Uh,
are a lot of fun
yeah,
too. And we
January
like
3rd.
we like interacting with the chat room, and we like and appreciate the comments and questions. So, and while I'm at it, if people could take 1 second to like the video, that helps YouTube decide to show that, offer that up to more people. If you like the show, remember to leave a like for us because it helps.
Cool. Well, listen, are you ready to have your world rocked?
I am so ready to have my world rocked.
I met this beautiful woman, beautiful, talented, gifted woman through the gentleman that played me on the series. Eli Roth Presents the Legion of Exorcists, Steve Crawford. He introduced me to her. I got her on the show. Huge hit. Everybody loves her. I love her and respect her. She's so cool. Award-winning actress in Los Angeles. We'll probably talk about some of her past favorite gigs and maybe what she's got coming up. She's also a UFO experiencer, and she used to be a writer for UFO magazine. So she's involved in some other stuff in the ufology community. We'll try and go over all of that. So, brothers and sisters, please give a big, warm paranormal ministry family welcome to the one and only Camille James Harman.
Hello and Merry Christmas to you all.
What are you doing?
I am just in that in-between time that we're all in when we are celebrating the 12 days of Christmas because it goes on and on, and waiting for New Year's and, thinking about the past year and wondering about the next year. And, it's the time you assess and you are like out with the old and with the new. I took a big bag of clothes to Goodwill the other day, things like that.
You know what? A lot of people reach out to me this time of year and go, we know you're a priest, so you're probably not very superstitious. I'm just human, so I got some superstitions. But they always want to know, do you do anything special for New Year's? And I do have a routine. We'll start with you, Camille, and then we'll go on to you, Annette. Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions or New Year's Eve routines that you do?
I like to eat black-eyed peas and cabbage and ham. And I read about this one where you take a suitcase and walk around your house, and it's supposed to symbolize a journey to the next year.
Yes. I do it all. My wife and I, we don't drink. We one night a year at the stroke of midnight, I open the front door to let the old year out. I wait a few seconds to let the new year in, then I shut the door. That's an old Celtic thing.
Yes.
The two of us will right then eat 12 grapes each. Doesn't matter what kind of grape. Then I will pop a bottle of champagne. We'll have a glass each. I mop my floor, my kitchen floor with ice, and then I throw the ice out. And then I walk around the house with my suitcases because associated with travel, if you expect to travel or want to travel, is that's lucky to be traveling. There's usually money involved, good fortune involved in traveling. And then I make sure I got some green on and money in my pocket, which is also considered good luck. And then, yes, New Year's Day, we will have black eyed peas over rice. Well, I make a Brazilian style dinner that I learned from my mother called feijoada, but it's traditionally with black beans. But on New Year's Day, we use the black eyed peas, and then later on that month, I'll do another version of that with the black beans. So yeah, so I do all of that. And Annette, what do you got planned there in Oklahoma?
I have heard of and done before with other people the black eyed peas and also Chinese food. I've heard that that's lucky on New Year's Eve. But on my own, I eat cheese and crackers and chip and dip.
Very, very cool.
And I don't have any kind of. We always used to just watch the countdown and play whatever games the kids got for Christmas, things that were good for all ages. And I don't really have any, I don't have a superstitious thing about it.
Either one of you got any, Camille, you got any New Year's resolutions lined up?
Oh, I need more time. I need to think about that still.
Okay.
But yeah, I heard it's going to be rainy on the East Coast, possibly at Times Square with all that going on. They're expecting rain, maybe. So I don't know if that's going to be as exciting there. But I also like to watch, on TV if I'm staying home, because we had a really big night out the other night at a very beautiful old big band club where we saw a big band, and it was a big extravaganza. That was kind of our pre-New Year's night on the town. But we might stay home and watch the fireworks. We live on a hill, so we can see fireworks. And then I like to watch it change in the different hours. So I'm from New Orleans, and they usually show New Orleans in the Central Time Zone midnight hour. And I always like to see the people in Jackson Square. That's fun.
Very, very cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. I think Annette will be with me on this, and I think right off the bat I'm going to put your feet to the fire on probably the hottest topic going right now in your community, especially the whole drone thing. And then what I would like you to do after you touch base on in your humble and professional opinion on what the HE double hockey sticks is going on, I would also like you to then go into your personal UFO experience for the few out there that may not have heard that story, which I find fascinating.
Well, thank you. I have been trying to keep up with all the drone videos and associated stories and rumors. I'm Oliver X, where I get most of my news on that. Actually, if you guys want to follow me on X, I repost a lot, so you can keep up, and you can always, use it as a search term, the drones and the UFOs, UAPs. I think that from what I'm gathering from others, that we've had a lot of cloud cover. So I haven't seen anything out here. I haven't been hanging out a lot at night though, watching for them. But I will tell you one story. So um, I'm seeing a lot on X of not only the drones and the UAP combo, right? The spheres, the balls of light that don't have the blinking red and green, right? Um, I'm seeing that a lot. So I think what's happening is there are UAPs, or if you want to call them non-human things flying around. I think there are spiritual beings that appear in the form of an orb, and those are flying around. And those can come right up to people, like in the case of Chris Bledsoe and his beings that come in the light. It's a ball of light in different colors, too. Um, and then I think that there are military drones as well. And, there have been many rumors. Some say they were sniffing for missing nuclear something or other, nuclear material that is dangerous. And that's why they were sweeping all these areas. Other people dismiss that. And, but we've seen videos of the orbs circling the drones. We've also seen videos of what looks like an orb that has no flashing lights or anything morph into something that looks like a craft with the flashing lights, which is very strange. So I don't know. I'm just sharing information, listening to experts that I trust, and they don't know. So a lot of people think that let's just say the bad guys that don't want a smooth transition to power are trying to cause chaos to put the country in a state of emergency um, to keep the current administration in power. That's one rumor. So if that's happening and they are trying to gin up a chaos scenario like alien invasion or World War III, then that is a logical guess at what might be going on. But if you listen to people that I listen to, like John Ramirez, who's ex-CIA, I don't know whether to trust him, but he's also a UFO experiencer and he speaks at UFO conferences. He said back in 2023 that disclosure would come by the end of 2023. Well, that didn't exactly happen, but we did have some hearings in Congress. They are talking, a lot of people are talking about an urgency factor that the beings are telling them, we're not waiting on you anymore. It's happening. I know that there are these Peruvian mummies they're finding in Peru that are legit bodies that have 3 fingers and 3 toes and big heads, and all these doctors are testing the DNA and doing scans on them, and they're real. And that's big news in Peru. So the United States doesn't have to be the big country that makes the disclosure public. I think disclosure is ongoing and happening as we speak. I think it's happening right now in many forms. If you expect Biden to come out and say anything about it, I don't think that's going to happen. But
Yeah.
I think if you know where to look, you're seeing it happen as we speak. So the question is, what do we do about that? Is it a scary thing? Is it a good thing? What's going on? And we'll have to wait and see. It could be used as an excuse to stir up we must have a one world government to deal with the UFOs, which is very frightening to me. So I am hoping it's not that. I'm hoping we will have a peaceful awakening to the non-human entity presence, but I can't bet on it.
Very interesting. Yeah.
It seems like the stories on it and the incidents are on the decline, or they're just not really showing a lot.
They're not on the decline. They're spreading to other places. This is happening way more than just on the East Coast. It's happening in every state. It's happening in other countries. It's been happening for weeks over England, over Air Force bases in England, Royal Air Force bases. So a lot of incursions over military bases. And you would think that the military would shoot them down if they're just drones, right? But they're not. So why aren't they? Is it because the lights belong to them and they know what they are, or is it because they're not drones and they can't be shot down? They're UFOs or they're orbs or something. So it's very mysterious why our government is playing so dumb and saying, but it's not a threat. It's like, okay, but what is it? Because people are scared.
See,
And
that's the thing too. How do you know it's not a threat if you have absolutely no idea what it is? Then how do you know?
It doesn't make sense. It's not logical to say that it's not a threat, but we don't know what it is. If it's flying over your military base, isn't it the rule that you shoot it down? Isn't that what we do?
Right. And I don't really, maybe it's me. I'm a little cynical. Anybody that's still waiting for an official disclosure after all this time. And, I believe now that if you don't believe in UFOs, you just don't want to. Because there's so much evidence. You just, the monkey with the, see no evil, you just don't want to accept it. But so because it dragged on so long, I think people don't really anticipate or are reliant upon the government to give some kind of honest.
Right. I would go on X and I would look at the accounts of people like Richard Dolan, Stephen Greer, Chris Bledsoe, people that are the big names in the field, and see because they're always posting updates and things on what they're hearing. I would look at those kinds of accounts, the whistleblowers, that have spoken before Congress, see what they're saying. I would not wait for the White House.
So do you think that it might be drones, though, or do you really think, because I think that the drone explanation's a little bit kind of weak, but
I think it's a mixture.
Okay.
I think it's a mixture, and if they are sniffing for radiation or something threatening, they're not going to tell us that,
right?
Because it would cause panic,
right?
I think they would also not tell us if they knew it was extraterrestrial, because they probably figure we would panic.
Exactly. And they don't want people to panic, or they might want people to panic, but not until they're ready for people to panic. Do you get what I'm saying?
Orchestrated.
Yeah, gotcha.
So another phenomenon associated on the ground is people getting sick for 3 days and then feeling well after being in close contact with the drones. That I'm finding that on YouTube. Also flashing lights, like lights behaving erratically on the ground, on buildings, cars, on street lamps. I myself experienced that, and on my YouTube channel is a short of a clip I just took, and I sent it to you too, where I came out of this holiday party for Hollywood Disclosure Alliance, of which I'm a member, and we had this big Hollywood party at a restaurant, and we came out, and I noticed the shopping center where we were, the upper floor, all the lights were flashing off and on, and they weren't Christmas lights. They were just the regular recessed lights along the walkway of this top floor of this shopping center, this outside shopping center. And they were all blinking, and it was not normal. And I don't know if we had a drone overhead or if the beings were attracted to our restaurant because it was full of a bunch of contactees. I mean, I don't know, but I got a little clip of it while I was waiting at ballet.
I feel bad I couldn't figure out how to load it up. I'm still getting used to this running the show here on by myself
Okay.
on
People can go to my
Streamer,
YouTube
but
and watch it later. It's like a 15-second clip.
yeah, I recommend everybody go check that out because it's, even though it's very short, it's trippy. It kind of, you get a little goosebumps watching it because it's just not normal. And I do find it very interesting that it happened where you were having a meeting with your group. Tell us about that group.
Mm-hmm. Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. It's newly formed. It was formed by Steve Bassett, who is a big UFO activist who works with Washington, D.C. for UFO disclosure, and Dan Harari, who is a Beverly Hills entertainment industry publicist. And so they got together and said, we need to create a Hollywood group that has a voice in pushing disclosure and also networking so that people in Hollywood that are interested in the subject can meet each other, know about each other, and make content, whether it's fiction or documentaries or whatever, that involves the different members in some capacity, whether it's, retelling someone's story or creating something fictional based on a true story or hiring actors, writers, whatever in the group. We have all these people. We have Shirley MacLaine in the group. We have all these big people in there. And it's new and it's very exciting. So you can check out that website page, HollywoodDisclosureAlliance.org, I think.
Can anybody join?
You have to be in the Hollywood industry or you have to be a UFO expert. So you can always email them and tell them who you are and why you'd like to join and how you think you could be a good asset for the group.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. I want to hear. You may have been pressed for time and didn't really go too much into your story the last time I had you on the show, but it's a fascinating story. I would love you to share your personal UFO experience.
Well, I'll give you the very short version, and people can go watch our earlier interviews if they want. Okay, so in 1995, when I just moved out to Los Angeles from New Orleans, I was all excited about my career. I moved here with my boyfriend. I had, my master's degree and my SAG card, and everything was great. I had an agent, but all of a sudden, I was having all this anxiety and weird symptoms of being like pregnant. And I'd never been pregnant before, and I had no menstrual cycle for 3 months. And I was like, what's going on? Am I pregnant or like what's happening? And so I had this sighting after about 3 or 4 months of this and saw my first UFO with my boyfriend walking the dog. And then I had this attack in the night of sleep paralysis where I heard a voice say my name, like a mechanical sounding voice, say my name. And I saw a flash of a gun pointed at me. And it was very weird. I was like, what is happening? I've had sleep paralysis before, but never with a voice and an image like that. Like, what is happening? And and then the following month, my menstrual cycle came back and everything was fine. So long story short, I started going to MUFON groups when I reported the UFO. And I met Kim Carlsberg and many other people in the field, Barbara Lamb, who does hypnosis. And I said, Barbara, I want to target that night when I had this weird sleep paralysis and saw UFO in the same time frame. And so we did, and I uncovered this memory of these beings, this terrifying memory of being taken in a blue beam of light through the ceiling, and these beings standing around me. And then they proceeded to take what seemed to be a very tiny fetus out of me. And I was horrified. And that's what started the whole thing. And all I can say is there are so many women who've had that experience, and there are so many men who've had similar experience where they have semen taken from them. So they seem to be creating some kind of a hybrid project of human and whatever they are. I don't know if this is demonic. I don't know if it's purely aliens. I don't know if it's a secret CIA mind control scenario where they put a screen memory on people and they're doing genetic experiments with people. I don't know. All of these theories are interesting. I had other experiences during 1995 and 96. I had a triangle on my leg, and I did another regression and discovered that was these beings. I went to a different therapist, by the way, for that, just for curiosity. So all of that. And then I also had an experience where I did a hypnosis to target an object my dentist had found in my tooth. And I thought I would get beings, but instead I got a military abduction scenario when I found myself in what seemed to be like an underground base. And I had guys in lab coats working on me. And they took me home in a helicopter from a ceiling that opened up, a retractable ceiling in this facility. And they dropped me off by my house and said, go home and take a nap in broad daylight. So I had that memory. That was the most disturbing of all, actually. So, yeah. And then I had a beautiful ecstatic light being experience under hypnosis, which we would call an out of body experience, but it was hypnotically induced. And that was pure love and oneness with these light beings. And I was weeping and saying, they're my home, they're my family. And they told me I had to go to Earth to fight evil, and all this really amazing, ecstatic spiritual union. So I've had these very diverse experiences, but I haven't had anything much happen since then. I had a lot of people pray over me. That was all in the 90s, and it stopped. So pretty much I have had some maybes, but nothing ongoing. And I just wrote for UFO magazine. I went to England. I walked in the crop circles. I went religious and dropped out altogether and went Catholic in 2013 and started going to Latin mass. And I thought it was all demonic. And then I kind of pulled out and said, I don't think it's all demonic. I think it's more complicated. And I went back into the UFO world to hear the new theories and testimonies of people and government stuff. So I don't know what it is. I just pray. And I think Jesus is working with the good beings in the things we see in the sky. I had a prayer at church, and I asked Jesus to show me if he was working with any good beings in the UFOs. And I had a sighting at church outside right after making that prayer.
Wow.
So that's on my YouTube. Also, people can see those 4 orbs flying around in daylight that I captured up in the clouds. So I just pray and say, dear God, please lead me to the truth, and protect me from evil and help. Yeah.
Well, I have an opinion and a theory, and I'll start by saying I don't know anything. But I think it's all of the above. And I also think that there are human alien hybrids walking around. Some know that they are that, and some don't have a clue that they are that. And I think some of them get visited and messed with, and that's the reason why, because they're part of that race. And like I said, it's all of the above. I talked to men who've been, they have these reoccurring abduction dreams, and they have really severe rectal issues, and they go to the doctor, and the doctor will even say to them, "Were you raped?" Or "Are you a gay man?" Or most of them are either married or not gay, and they have this rectal trauma. But I do believe, how often do you think there is misidentification going on? Because people talk to me, and they'll tell me stories of these beautiful angelic beings that visit them, sometimes while they're awake, sometimes while they're asleep, and that they're taken and shown these worlds. Some of these visitations are very violent, some are very sexual. I think it's all of the above, but I do think there's a lot of misidentification going on. And how do you feel about the misidentification and then the hybrid scenario?
It is very challenging. People thought, well, that must be a screen memory. You must have had an abortion and you feel guilty. And so you're imagining aliens. So it's like, I've never had an abortion. That doesn't make sense. Next, So, and I've just met too many people it's happened to. And they always take the fetus at 3 to 4 months. Now, I don't remember getting the fetus started. I don't remember being impregnated by any means. I don't have a memory of any sex with aliens. I don't have a memory of any medical procedure that would have put something in me. But people do. People have those memories. So I don't, but they do. And I've tried to target other things in hypnosis and gotten nowhere. Like I tried to target, if I have this child from 1995 that's half alien or whatever it is, where is it? Can I talk to it? How old is it now? Have I met with it? Are there any memories of subsequent visits with this being? Because people report that too, being asked to hold the babies and nurture the babies. I don't have any memory. I can't get to it. I'm blocked. So I don't know what to make of that. Maybe God is protecting me from going too deep with all my memories, and maybe God has blocked all these memories from me. Maybe the beings have. I don't know.
I don't think, Annette, I've ever asked. Maybe I have asked you, but uh, you've experienced a lot of weird things in your life. Have you had anything that you've thought was ET related?
Before that,
Um,
Annette.
3 times I've
oh,
seen what
Annette.
I believe to be UFO. 3 times.
Huh.
Actually, all three here in Oklahoma, by the way. But not anything, like experience like we're hearing about being abducted or anything really interactive. So, I mean, I really feel bad for you. That sounds just completely traumatic.
Well, I've been dying to get your professional opinion, Camille, on a couple of things. Have you ever been out to Rachel, Nevada?
No.
It's a little out in the middle of nowhere. There's actually not even a town there. There's a little bar called the Little Alien, and it's just on the outskirts of Area 51. And you take this highway called the Extraterrestrial Highway out there. It's a couple-hour drive for me from Vegas, but I've been out there a few times. But I remember being invited back in my biker days. Me and a few of my biker friends were invited out to California for a rally, and we made specific plans, and it was our first trip there to come back through Rachel and stop at this little alien. Well, we get there, it's the middle of the week, but it's like middle of the afternoon. We thought it was very strange that there was nobody there. And even though there were some trailers in the back um, that people could stay in, like mobile hotel room units, there were some trailers there that looked like the kind that you would have on a movie set, which I thought was very out of place. We go in the bar, there's nobody in there. Then this one person comes out, and I know everybody's going to think that I'm trying to be funny, and I'm not. This person looked like Christopher Walken in drag. And then shortly after this person came out, another person came out, looked just like the first person. And shortly after that, a third person came out, looked just like that other person. They all look like they could have not triplets, but very, very relate. Like they could have been related. And this person starts. One of them starts asking us all of these really, who are you guys? Where are you coming from? Where are you headed? Do you have a lot of family and friends in Vegas? Are you expected? Would you like to spend the night here? We got these new trailers where two of you each can stay in a trailer overnight. We'll throw you a special rate. We just got really, really weirded out about the situation and didn't stay. And that doesn't happen to four biker guys who don't get shaken very easily. But we really legitimately got creeped out and ended up leaving. Um, so that's one thing I'll throw at you, and then the other thing I'll throw at you is this missing hiker who everybody's still searching for, Kenny Veach, who said he went out in the Mojave Desert near Area 51, found this M-shaped cave. He's an extreme hiker out in the middle of nowhere. He couldn't enter the cave because the EMF's wave was too strong for him to enter, and it bothered him so much he couldn't get the cave off his mind. So he made an announcement he was going to go back, find the cave, and when he went back out, no one heard from him again. And they've had extensive searches. And an Irish investigator came out from Ireland and was doing a piece on him and had me meet him out in the middle of the desert to talk about this. So let's talk about this experience of mine in Rachel, Nevada. And you gotta go there. You, especially of all people, gotta go there. But then
My
also this
husband,
missing hiker.
my husband's been out there. I've been to Roswell and I've been to England to see the crop circles, but no, I haven't gone to Area 51. But I would say, as far as the creepy people that looked alike, that were dressed funny and asked you all these questions, it reminds me somewhat of the Men in Black stories. only they're dressed like Men in Black in those stories. But this idea of quite not human looking, you know, guys that show up that sometimes you don't see them coming or going. They just kind of appear or disappear, and they don't look quite human. And they intimidate or ask questions or try to seduce you into some action or inaction. And Nick Redfern has a really good book about Men in Black and the not just regular like government officials like you think of in the movie, but dressed like a government official, but appearing not quite human. Those types of creatures. So we don't know what that is. But a shapeshifter or an imposter of some kind. Is that what you think it was?
I don't know. We all creeped out, and we
I've
all
never
thought
heard of anything like
we
that.
all psychically were connected, and it was like when these people were near us, the four of us could communicate just by looking at each other in our thoughts, and we all came to the conclusion that if we stay here overnight in these trailers, we're going to be driven off somewhere, and no one's going to know whatever happened to us again.
Wow.
That's what we all felt, and that's why we left.
Well, it's good you left. And then regarding the missing hiker, I don't know. I hear so much about portals. You know, I watch Skinwalker Ranch and all those shows about portals. And people go missing. David Paulides has a great series called 411, Missing 411, where he covers missing people in national parks. So missing people happen. You know, people that go into the wilderness and do not come out. And there are some strange stories associated with it where they do not find the remains like as if they had had an animal attack. Also, I would say that portals are all over the place, not just the Southwest. You know, you hear these stories from Ireland, of all things, from all over the place of portals. And it could be that. And there's currently a very interesting story out of, I believe it's Colorado, where there are 180 cattle missing. And they've actually made notices on the sheriff's office Twitter page, X page, about it. So this is a case of not finding mutilated animals, but finding there are 180 missing head of cattle that they're looking for, which is kind of wild. So, you know, people and animals get taken by these beings. This David Paulides series, Missing 411, there are stories of UFOs, people missing and UFOs related to it. People who have seen UFOs picking up elk in a beam of like a tractor beam and floating away with the elk. And then there was a guy who got abducted and said he saw elk on the ship. So wow. It's more than just cattle being taken. It could be, you know, dangerous, obviously.
Absolutely.
Those cattle mutilation stories are just so crazy.
I feel like they've been with us forever. They're still going on.
Well, there's something about the blood. They take the blood, and I heard Travis Taylor from Skinwalker Ranch, who worked for NASA and was on the, you know, the UFO team for the government. He mentioned something about maybe they used the blood to fly their craft, which was a very weird thing to say. But what do they know about blood? And some of these craft people have described as being alive. Like they have the skin is like the surface of it is like skin, or there'll be responsive things about the craft that make it up like a biotechnical thing, not a fully a machine, like a biology machine thing. So what did he know that made him suggest that the blood could be used to power the craft? I mean, that's a pretty wild thing for a NASA guy to say.
That's crazy. And for anybody interested, because I love the Skinwalker Ranch show, we have Jim Scalia coming on from Skinwalker Ranch in March. Mm-hmm. And that'll be the 14th. So that ought to be a really great show with a lot of interesting stories, interesting questions. But you know, Skinwalker Ranch is like a lot of other things that the more that you try to look into it and solve it and figure it out, the more it's just a big rabbit hole where you just get more questions. And it's just such a curious, strange place where all kinds of things happen. Aliens, ghosts, the cattle mutilations, just some kind of werewolf, werewolf. And the high EMF. a lot of the EMF and radiation readings there, and also the talk of it being cursed from the natives in that area. Just kind of like everything converged all in one spot.
Yeah. So while I'm interested in the subject, I caution people against being so interested that they forget it can be actually dangerous.
Right.
And you want to stay protected.
For sure.
Well, on a more down to earth topic, I know that I hope you are. I know you are careful because it would be very. I would be very upset if you disappeared for the obvious reason. You're such a gifted, talented actress. You know I feel that way, and that's legit. Um, I would love for you to tell us about. There's people out there that want to know how they. I can feel it already. How they can reach out to you. I would like to know if you have any acting gigs you've recently done that haven't aired yet, or something that you're going to audition for that we can all pray for you to get it. And I'd like to also know if you got any events coming up that you might be speaking at.
Okay, hold on one second. I had to tell my son who was coming in with a friend to be quiet. So yeah, recently I've been doing some small things like commercials and sketch work. I've been on Live Action. Live Action is a pro-life um, website and organization, and they have had me do some sketch comedy for their channel. So I've done that. I also did a commercial for a water fountain company, which is awesome. No, it sounds so silly, but there's so many things you get offered that are morally, like, I don't know if I want to do that. So it's always good when it's something nice and neutral, and it's, that I can just say, yes, I could do that. I've been doing some vertical short form dramas where I usually play the mother of the main character. I usually play villains, actually. Sometimes I'm the nice person, and those are fun. And I did a whole bunch of those last year. I've been taking a break recently, not on purpose from acting, but it's just slowed down a lot, actually. There's a really good guy on Instagram, producer.patrick, and he talks about the industry and how things are changing and how there are a lot of problems in the entertainment industry right now, beyond P. Diddy and associates, but a
Yeah.
lot of other problems. And it's like I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket with that industry, but I love acting, and I do it, as it comes around. But it's kind of slim pickings right now. I do have some things coming out. One is called The New Manna. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's a film about the Eucharist, and it's ties to the Old Testament, which is really interesting.
You and I
And
have talked about this, waiting for
yeah,
that. Please
yeah,
let me know when you know.
it's all about money. Finishing a film takes a lot of money, and the economy and everything has really been a problem for a lot of people. Um, And I have some things I'm cast in. People can go to my IMDb and look at my page there and see my credits. I was on Shameless once, and I was in the movie Vice, which won an Oscar, in which I played Mary Madeline, who was counselor to the Vice President Dick Cheney. And the real Mary Madeline, I wrote her a letter, and she wrote me a letter back, which was really sweet. So I have that
Oh,
framed.
that's wonderful.
She's in
That's
New
wonderful.
Orleans, and so that was fun. And I'm hopeful for the future, but I'm also finally, I think, going to finish writing my book after I do my taxes, and maybe get that done this year.
Very, very cool. Well, if you do the book and you're looking for a publisher, look no further than Annette. She
Or
does.
any kind of help. I do all aspects.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm excited for you, and I do. I think you're just really, really cool. I got to get you and your husband on here together one time. I think together the the chemistry there and having you both on there, and he's got quite the background in this field too. So I don't. Next time I reach out to you, which is going to be probably spring of next year, I'll ask you to elbow hubby and see if he might be interested on coming on with you because
Thanks.
I'd love to pick his brain. He seems to be a very interesting person
Thanks.
too.
And he has a YouTube channel too, Jeff Harman Astrologer on YouTube. I am, if anybody wants to find my links, just go to my regular website, CamilleJamesHarman.com, and it has links to my X, my YouTube, my Instagram, all that.
Well, listen, before I kick you out of here, is there anything else you would like to we've got so many things coming up. We got a new administration coming into power next year. We've got, I think it's going to be a 2025. I think, in my heart of hearts and in my soul, I just feel it's going to be a great year for everybody. Um, what are you feeling? Anything you'd like to, any pearls of wisdom or anything you'd like to pass on?
I would caution people that the people that have been in power, that have been doing illegal things, are not going to go easily into the night. So there may be a lot of drama in this changeover to this new administration, which promises, justice, and which promises to take action against people doing child trafficking and all these other things, crimes against humanity. So I think it's going to be a little bit wild this year, and and keep praying, and hopefully we will see some results of more corruption being exposed and actual justice being served, people being arrested, people being prosecuted, instead of just knowing people are doing all these horrible illegal things and getting away with it.
Absolutely. I added you to the prayer list the first time we met, and I pray for you often, you and your family. Annette, before we kick Camille out of here, anything you'd like to ask her?
Actually, I was going to ask our listeners in the chat room really quickly if any of them have experienced the sighting of a UFO or UAP. I'm interested in that. See how prevalent it is of people. What about you, Father Shawn? Have you?
Well, I know I had so many things. I lied earlier when I told Camille that I had 6 questions for her that were sent in. That was true. But I have so much I want to talk to her about. What I decided to do was just hold on. And I know you always have so many questions that you ask me when we do our open mic on First Fridays. I thought I would wait and do that then. Um, and just tell everybody, if there's something you've ever wanted to ask Annette or me, next Friday is the day to do it. First Fridays with Father Shawn and Annette on this. It's you guys that tune in are the guest, so we're going to be taking questions from the chat room, and so I would save that for them. But Camille, I hope you truly know that I love having you on the show. I think you're just super cool. Please
Thank
have a
you.
blessed, blessed, safe, happy new year. The best to you. I will continue to pray for you. And whenever you have something coming up, please reach out to me so I can an audition, I'll pray for you, or you landed the gig and you've filmed it and you're waiting for it to come out. Let me know so I can look for these things and watch you because I think you're super talented.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
but have a great remainder to your Friday evening. Give your family a big hug and a kiss for me, and just stay beautiful, okay?
Thank you so much, and blessings to you. And thank you for all the hard work you do with people who want someone to give them advice on paranormal problems.
Camille, do you take
Thanks,
care, okay?
Neil. It was great meeting you.
Thank
Happy
you,
New
Annette.
Year. Yes, I hope you come back soon. I really enjoyed it.
We'll
Thank
talk to
you.
you
Well, hope
soon.
we all figure out what the drones are soon, too.
Right, absolutely.
We'll see
All
you
right.
later.
Okay, bye
Bye
bye.
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 She's great. All righty, you.
You know
Next
what?
Friday.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'm off today, and I feel like after she was telling me about being abducted, I just felt really weird. I don't know if it was all emotional or what. It just really kind of affected me.
Well, you never know. It might be. Check into that. Pray on it. I've been doing a lot of praying. I've been having a lot of that weirdness happening too here around the house, and I always used to just write it off as being, something's coming, a new case, and I'm getting the paranormal drive-bys and the recon blast, but it could be more than that. So just pray on it. But I'm ready to. Everybody knows who next week's guest is. They are the viewer. You ready for this week's joke?
For sure.
I have gotten a hatful sent to me over the past couple of weeks, so I got to get to the jokes. Ready? What did the scarecrow? Why did the scarecrow win an award?
Why did this scarecrow win an award?
because he was outstanding in his field.
Oh boy, that one's pretty good compared to some of the other ones. That one is outstanding in his field. Great, got it. That's pretty good.
Listen, I'm going to say goodbye to you now. Too, I honestly feel I couldn't do the show without you. You are an awesome co-host,
Thank
and
you.
bracelets. I love your bracelets. Make sure you get back to me later on tonight with who won, so I know, and try to get an address so I know
Oh,
where to ship the winner their
right.
incense. And
Incense into the chat, and we'll leave it go until later. So if you watch the show later, up until midnight, in the comments, you can type the word incense.
all right, Annette, please have a wonderful remainder to your Friday evening. Have a very happy and blessed New Year Eve, New Year's Day, and I'll see you next Friday for open mic.
Thank you. You too. I will see you next Friday. Good night, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Good night, Annette Munich. All right, guys. You know what? I am not going to have to check the prayer urn because I cleaned it out this morning. Everybody that was in there, I've reached out to and we prayed together. So, you know what I decided I was going to do? I'm going to offer up a prayer for everybody that can see me and hear me. I'm going to offer up a prayer for us for the coming year. And I'm going to pull out a great one from the St. Benedict prayer book. I offer this prayer up to everyone that can see me and hear me in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. O God, creator of the universe, who extends your paternal concern over every creature and guides the events of history to the goal of salvation, we acknowledge your fatherly love when you break the resistance of mankind and, in a world torn by strife and discord, you make us ready for reconciliation. Renew for us the wonders of your mercy. Send forth your Spirit that he may work in the intimacy of hearts, that enemies may begin to dialogue, that adversaries may shake hands, and peoples may encounter one another in harmony. May all commit themselves to the sincere search for true peace, which will extinguish all arguments, for charity, which overcomes hatred, for pardon, which disarms revenge. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Brothers and sisters, I'm also going to light a candle. May the Holy Spirit enter and intervene in everyone's lives in the coming year. Peace on earth and peace to each and every one of you. And this candle will continue to burn until it's done burning. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Spirit Switchboard with Carrie Lynn Shellhorn. That's a great show. Sponsors, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, reach out. Brothers and sisters, we may have done what the devil said we did, but we are not who the devil says we are. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Peace.